Okay, if I can have everyone's attention, we got enough for a quorum. We're going to go ahead and start this meeting. I don't think anyone wants to be here any later than we have to. We're taking up Senate Bill 186 today. There's a substitute on this bill. Don't freak out, it's 108 pages long, but it's a very simple bill. I'm going to go through it. As you know, the other day when we had this meeting, we had a room full of folks. There was a lot of opposition and people in favor of this bill. We spent a lot of time with the organizations involved, from the Real Estate Association to the contractors, builders, apartments, and down the line, on trying to come up with a compromise. And I believe we have that, and the substitute that we're going to be working off of is LC 28574-5S. I think the easiest thing for me to do is go through the bill and just tell you what the bill does instead of going line by line. But Chairman Taunton, I hear you say you want to go line by line, or? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. What we're doing in Senate Bill 186, or with the sub, we're going to be creating a new department, the Department of Fire Safety. Under the Department of Fire Safety, what will occur is there will be a commissioner of the Department of Fire Safety. That commissioner will be appointed by the governor. The commissioner will then be empowered to appoint a fire marshal for the Department of Fire Safety. As you know, the original bill brought a lot of stuff over from the insurance department, the commissioner of insurance. In this new bill, there are some components from the insurance department coming over to the Department of Fire Safety. That's why this bill is so long, because we're having to separate those areas and lay out the new guidelines for what they're doing, and also keep in place the guidelines for the Commissioner of Insurance. Coming over into the new department will be the Hazardous Material Division, the Manufactured Homes Division, and the Arson Division. These are public safety aspects, and what we want to do is make sure that we kept public safety into this new division, and the insurance commissioner will still have the engineering department, which I think was a compromise that we had. I know that was a compromise we had a lot with the Realtor Association, contractors, and builders, to make sure you still have that section. Throughout the bill, when you go through it, there's going to be a lot of line striking, because that new language will now be going over to the Department of Fire Safety. We did have to make some name changes on page 71. And y'all forgive me, this bill is so thick, the staple has given out and I got papers going everywhere. But on page 71, what used to be the Georgia Firefighter Standards and Training Council is now known as the Georgia Fire Safety Professional Development Act. And they'll have the same duties as the other ones, but we had to make some name changes because of the move over to the new part. 71 is where that takes effect. On page 80, on line 2733, the Georgia Fire Academy is now under the Georgia Fire Emergency Service Training Act. This is the part that's going to be assisting by providing the training, developing the methods for the fire prevention and firefighting. With this new setup, there is also a new board created with the Department of Fire Safety. I'm going backwards a little bit. This is on page 65. In line 2247, we're creating the Fire Safety Advisory Board. And how that board is going to be set up, you're going to have 4 members shall be appointed by the governor. 2 members shall be appointed by the Speaker of the House. 2 members shall be appointed by the Lieutenant Governor. One member shall be the Commissioner of Insurance or his or her designee. One member shall be the President of the Georgia Association of Fire Chiefs as an ex officio member. One member should be the President of the Georgia State Firefighter Association as an ex officio. The Commissioner will also appoint one member of the Georgia Municipal Association, one of the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, ACCG, one member of the Insurance Services Organization, one from the propane gas industry, one from the Oilmen's Association, and one member from the manufactured home industry. Once this is set up, they will receive the same per diem that everyone else does for those services. As I said before, in this bill, there are portions where sometimes the Commissioner of Insurance and the Commissioner will be working together on some of the safety functions to make sure that we are working together for fire prevention throughout the state. But they are separate. There's no true duplication of services in this bill. And I have read this bill one time too many because it has changed, but we were able to shorten the bill from 111 pages to 108 by creating this new division. We saved a seedling. But with that being said, I'll take any questions that the committee may have on this bill. And I will give you a few minutes if you've got something. Who's number 11? Chairman Talton.
I just want to ask one question, a quick question.
Yes, sir.
We're not creating, we're creating a new department, but are we taking over and are we moving
It is creating a new department, but it's going to be administratively attached to the Department of Public Safety. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm just trying to, unfortunately, try to go through a 108-page bill quickly to make sure that we can get y'all out of here and get ready on your spring break. But also in this bill, I'm sorry, there's another question. Did that answer your question, Mr. Talton?
Yes.
Chairman Talton. Representative Cook.
Sorry, just to clarify with the administrative stuff under the Department of Public Safety, the fire commissioner and the new fire department, so to speak, they'll be in control of all their functions and duties. Just the administrative end will be under the public safety. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
We're hoping to find some savings there in costs because of that. Our administratively attached to the Department of Public Safety. I'm sorry, who's on 17? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you give a little bit more detail about the Fire Safety Advisory Board? My understanding of one of the purposes behind this was to streamline and have fewer individuals involved in the decision-making process, and so we're establishing a board. Can you just give a little more context and information about why we're going in that direction? Page 65.
That's where it's created. It basically tells what it does as we go further into the bill. I'm trying to find that right now. Basically, one of their jobs it's going to be to do, and it's on 2272, is provide advice to the commissioner on all matters before the department. If there's issues coming up, this is one of the areas that they can come if they need to. If there's a conflict in the field, they can come to this board, or this board can look at what's going on, not just throughout the state, but other areas that may be able to assist this department and give advice to the new commissioner. It's kind of like most of the other boards we've had set up. It's pretty much an advisory board, but also it's very useful for the department to have that set up.
Okay. Thank you.
Representative Frazier.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could you tell me what is the cost savings by creating this new commission, or do we have stats on that as it relates to saving money for our constituents?
As of right now, anytime you create a new department, there will probably be some increases, but not most, but the transfer coming over from the insurance department, those monies will be coming over, all the equipment from those agencies will be coming over, the furniture and all that. I would probably look at, and we don't have it set up, and that's one of the things I talked to Senator Mullis, who was the author of the bill. The easiest thing is probably for them to be in the location they're in now and pay their rent, just like they are now over at the Commissioner of Insurance. But Senator Mullis was thinking if we brought the whole thing over, we could streamline it, reduce some personnel, and make it more efficient. But to be quite honest with you, we're talking with Senator Mullis, I don't think that bill could have passed the floor of the House because a lot of the opposition built up, so we're trying to find a compromise. As they're going through, if they can find ways to streamline, and that's one of the things the board can look at also, how to streamline and reduce cost. But anytime you start a new one, there's no doubt you're going to have a little bit of money involved for the new commissioner and things like that.
With the merging of the insurance department, do you know how many jobs will be lost
None.
in this process?
None. Because we're bringing the personnel that's already over doing those services into the new service, into the new department.
So everybody keep their job?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And of course, the what was then the Standards Training or Training Council and the other portion, they're already funded, and they're just coming over under this new division here with the new Department of Fire Safety.
Is there also any duplication of services?
No.
No? Okay.
As I said, there'll be some working together, which I think is a good thing when it talks about fire safety and prevention, and we do need to have them working together somewhat on that. But duplication services, no, because we took out those divisions of the insurance and moved them directly over here, so there should be no duplication of services. And I had a long conversation with legislative council today, not the one to my left, the good one, but the one that wrote it.
So now I'm in Augusta, so now my fire department, my chief now will be reporting to this new commissioner.
And a good thing, and that's one of the things we talked about in the public meetings, is they felt like they really had no one to go in that field if they had questions. This way, our firefighters now have a separate division that handles strictly fire, which is public safety, which I think is important, and that's why I brought those other parts on. But if they have questions, they know they have someone now who has at least 10 years experience, which you must have to become the commissioner, and to help them set up either new training or set up a department. Maybe volunteers won't become a department, I hate to use the word regular department, but a full-time 24/7, 365 owned entity. They got someone to go to assist them on setting that up.
One final question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the commissioner that will be appointed by the governor, would that commissioner have firefighting experience?
Yes,
or-
ma'am. In the bill, it says he has to have at least 10 years experience in the firefighter field.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's number 16?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did want to reiterate, and actually some of the things were addressed, but on page 62 it does specifically spell out the supplies, the office equipment, and the people are going to move with the jobs. There will not be a loss in job, that's my understanding.
Correct.
Okay, and that's one of the places where it talks about it. That happens to be referred to the fire academy. Will it be an increase in jobs in any way? Will there be any additional training? Is it going to make it easier for us to train firefighters and be better prepared?
I think it's going to be a more effective way to train firefighters and for them to have their own division or their own department to look at new ways of doing the training and what may be approaching us down the road. As we know, with Homeland Security, there are threats that occur every day, and that's a ever-changing field. It seems like every minute someone's trying to find some way to hurt us, and in case of a disaster, the fire personnel that we have will have that department with that commissioner, make sure that those things are streamlined and done efficiently and effectively.
Thank you. And this will also help our local fire departments tremendously, so they will have a single source to go to and get their training, and everybody's on the same page.
Yes, ma'am. I also will help out local fire departments when we have a disaster, kind of like the ice storm. They'll be at the table also, and I think that's very important. And again, let me also say, it was strange that we pretty much got everyone on board on this. Even the insurance office is fine with what we're doing in this bill. So I got to give kudos to the Legislative Council for all their hard work and everything they do on the bill, and all the agencies involved trying to make where everyone's pretty much
Okay,
happy.
that was
I
my
believe.
next question, and
Yes,
he's on board with it, and their staff has
Yes,
helped to
ma'am.
form this. Thank you, great.
Says you represent Maddox.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I apologize, I missed the very beginning of this, but I was listening to the appointment to the advisory board, and I see where one member shall be the commissioner of insurance or his or her designee. Does he have carte blanche appointment power that could be anybody, or is it contemplated that it would be somebody from the Department of Insurance?
He would be on the advisory board. Now, if he has a designee that he wants in the meetings, he could. But the commissioner of insurance would be on the board.
Is that the only role that they would play?
Yes.
Good.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I said I hate to hit you with a 108-page bill, but I said there were so many changes and inner workings of this bill, bringing these divisions over from the insurance division. That's why it's so long, and mainly it's just already in law, a lot of this, and it's a lot of strikes and making the new names, and so it had to be put in place. And I want to give everyone a chance on this committee one last time if there's any questions, because I'll try to answer them the best I can before we move forward. Seeing none, bills in the breast committee, what would be the desire of the committee? Chairman Talton.
Motion to pass.
You got a motion to pass. Is there a second? Have a second. Any further discussion? Is that you, Representative Neal?
Yes, I was trying to read through it to see if I saw anything that was unrelated. What's the cigarette stuff in the back on 3,399, page 300? I mean, line 3,399. What's this about?
Current law that just switches over to the new department.
Okay.
As I said, you find a lot. I didn't know that was part of the insurance commission until I
Yeah,
read that
right.
too. And
Okay.
I said a lot of this is just switching over, bringing that new department and those services under the new department that was transferred over.
Okay.
So that's current law, just going under the new department. Any other discussion? Not see any. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Bill passes. Thank y'all so much for your time. And y'all have a very safe spring break. No, Senate Bill 98 was on the agenda. We took that off due to the time of day. So thank y'all for coming, and y'all have a safe weekend.